Five ways Black women can transmute race play. Hell hath no fury.
That's the game. Is that your white privilege talking? Because you didn't take down the Russians or the Haitians. I did. That wasn't you and your boys. That was me and my crew. And if you think I'm going to let you take me down, you got another thing coming.
It's about motherfucking time to embrace your rage, Black women. Especially because it's so fucking real and it's so fucking valid and it just feels so fucking orgasmic to release it and express it. I want you to understand that there are pathways to healing that are unorthodox and that don't have to involve screaming and being in the typical frequency of uncontrolled anger.
Angry is good. Angry gets shit done.
My intention here is to tap into a revolutionary perspective that allows us to transmute our rage into our pleasure, our self-seduction, our self-deification, period. What the fuck is race play? Now, I just want to give you a little context into what exactly race play is before we dive deep, okay? Now, according to the griot, race play is a form of consensual sexual role-playing in which the actual, perceived, or assumed racial, ethnic, or national identities of the participants is specifically the focus of the scene. In most cases, race play is usually depicted in the narrative of degrading Blackness, with the N-word and like slave master role play, with white and other POC acting as the dominant in the scene.
I told her we know all about the whiteness.
The gag is that race play scenarios rarely mention the reverse power dynamic, especially when it comes to Black women in the dominant power position, which is a dynamic that really intrigued me when I first started like researching about kinks and fetishes, as well as while working as a virtual dominatrix and a phone sex operator.
1-800-ICY girl.
Icy.
As I began discovering really dope Black dominatrices, like Mistress Marley.
Up. Every time I say good boys, I want to hear thank you, Mistress Marley.
Yes, Mrs. Marley. Thank you, Mrs. Marley.
Back down.
Up. Was phenomenal. And Mistress Velvet, rest in power to her. And their approach to race play by demanding reparations from their most times white submissives and giving them assignments that educated their white submissives on the historic value and currency of Black femininity. This really shifted my perspective in a lot of ways when it came to what, you know, being a Black dominant woman looked like, because it wasn't exactly the strong Black woman trope. It was more of a Black woman resting in her femininity and resting in her power, you know, in her feminine power, which I think is so like discounted at this time. But, you know, we about to change that shit. But anyway, I digress. So this really shifted my perspective. And when it came to how powerful this realm of kink can be for Black women, like that was where like the light bulb went off for me. Because I feel like this really depicts us empowering ourselves and redefining what dominance looks like for us. Redefining even what pleasure looks like for us. And also how to utilize this kink as an outlet for repressed and very valid rage. Which is why I want us to deep dive into the 5 ways that Black women can transmute race play. The first way, utilizing race play to heal our generationally pent up rage. I completely agree with rapper Rico Nasty when she said in an Essence magazine article interview, I don't know why Black women are scared to rage. We have more to be mad about than anybody else on the planet. End quote. I don't know. It's very interesting how Black women have been stereotyped as angry. Like, there's no possible reason on earth why a Black woman would be angry, especially when it pertains to the oppressive white systems and structures that have physically, emotionally, and economically raped us of our autonomy to our bodies, emotions, and spirituality. Like, we just supposed to be jolly and happy this shit is happening. Like, the fuck?
Now, where the hell do you go every day?
To the bathroom, sir.
To the bathroom. To the damn bathroom. For 40 minutes a day? What are you doing there?
We're T-minus 0. I put a lot of faith in you.
There's no bathroom for me here.
What do you mean there's no bathroom for you here?
There is no bathroom. There are no colored bathrooms in this building or any building outside the West Campus, which is half a mile away. Did you know that? I have to walk to Timbuktu just to relieve myself. And I can't use one of the handy bikes. Picture that, Mr. Harrison. My uniform, skirt below my knees, my heels, and a simple string of pearls. Well, I don't own pearls. Lord knows you don't pay colors enough to afford pearls. And I work like a dog, day and night, living off of coffee from a pot none of you want to touch. So, excuse me if I have to go to the restroom a few times a day.
So, if we could get real deep right now, like, my innate spiritual knowing and observation tells me that there's been a lingering strand of rage DNA that has been passed down generation after generation that sits at our root chakra. And without much focus on healing the underlying emotion of anger that comes from being exploited and violated for generations, gaslit by society, in many cases by Black men as well, being devalued and degraded, having our divinity used and abused for the benefit of others' hidden agendas. It's just a lot of holy fuckery going on out here. Like, it's just a lot of fuckery, period, going on out here, especially when it comes to us. Now, within the kink of race play, or what I deem as the rageful kink, check that link below to the article on the Full Moon Goon entitled The Rageful Kink, because that was literally the inspiration for this piece. There is a power dynamic that stems from our trauma from slavery that may also hold, in my opinion, a key healing agent as an outlet for expressing this very relevant emotion that Black women have been harboring and nursing for centuries. The second way, utilizing race play to assert our audacity to self-deify. Now, according to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, audacity is the bold or arrogant disregard of normal restraints. So, the most taboo aspect of racism, or the traditional interpretation of race play, in my opinion, is the audacity of the oppressive systems of American white mediocrity and the caste hierarchy of society.
How much longer can we afford to wait? You keep track of days, numbering the years for scribes that record human history. Do you see progress? I count 1, 2, 3 African gods in this room. And 2 of them want to exercise restraint? And let the donkey walk continue while you live your best life. War is upon us. An old white lady is dead. Wednesday avenges Zoriah Virtunia, but if it was a dead Black lady, like this sweet old soul, Churning Boggs' hammer would not swing.
But I digress. As I've meditated on this shit and unraveled it in my mind, I've come to the realization that audacity is a necessity in not only the survival, but the thriving of Black women's divinity. Not in a tyrannical or abusive nature, but in the form of erotic power that cultivates self-deification at the highest level. In order to turn this matrix of race play on its head and in our favor, please understand that in your self-deification, you must lean into your self-care on a higher level. This won't work if you don't. Not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually, which is something that I've had to come to learn and am continuing to learn, process, and practice. Standing in your feminine and erotic power as a Black woman allows your self-deification and platform of being worshipped to be asserted unapologetically. Now, according to Audre Lorde's essay entitled Uses of the Erotic as Power, she states, "The erotic is a resource within each of us that lies on a deeply female and spiritual plane, firmly rooted in the power of our unexpressed or unrecognized feeling. In order to perpetuate itself, every oppression must corrupt or distort those various sources of power, within the culture of the oppressed that can provide energy for change. For women, this has meant a suppression of the erotic as a considered source of power and information within our lives. To put it plainly, our unexpressed and unrecognized feeling is our rage, which will provide the energy of change that we are powerful enough to create as Black women. In all honesty, the erotic has been a really untapped source of extreme power. And I'm not talking about twerking and shaking your ass in front of a camera or on stage or fucking multiple motherfuckers. Let's be real. When you give your cookies away, you're literally giving your power away. Point blank. It seems that historically, as Black women, we've been pummeled with the assumption that our confidence must be arrogance and that we must be quote unquote humbled. And this is something I've experienced so much on my journey. A lot of times by the people closest to me, in a way that extracts and usurps our power for the use of others' hidden agendas. Planting a thought form that we should just be grateful for the crumbs that society believes is all we deserve. And I'm really just not buying that shit. So, all in all, assert your fucking audacity, Black women, in every fucking aspect of your motherfucking life. And especially when it comes to our sexuality, when we give ourselves the space to assert our audacity, self-deify and self-seduce, and stand over any previous oppression that we faced or are facing, we are being proactive in our healing as well.